It's time for Dart Talk. Brought to you by thedartzone.com. Stay in the zone. Thedartzone.com is an official Cosmo distributor and Windy City Fabricators, America's premier fabricators of orthotics and prosthetics. And Redwood Darts, America's newest tungsten darts. Stand straight and tall and hit them all. Redwood Darts. And now, here are your hosts, Mystery Mark and Steve P.
Dart Talk carries the Internet Broadcast Rating TVD, a broadcast that is specifically designed to be viewed or heard by the darting community, and therefore may be incomprehensible to other lesser mammals. Darter discretion advised.
Okay, welcome to Dart Talk.
Welcome.
Someday in May.
Someday in May. I'm not. What day is it?
It's Wednesday.
It is Wednesday.
It's Wednesday, 7:30 Central Time for Dart Talk. Steve Penoselma with Mystery Mark and Chat Room Girl. Say hello.
Hi-ho.
We got her a mic stand and everything. Brought to you by the Dart Zone.
Stay in the zone.
Dartzone.com is an official Cosmo distributor. Also, many thanks for Windy City Fabricators and Redwood Darts.
There you go.
How you doing?
I'm doing fine. How about yourself?
I'm good. What'd you do all weekend? We were busy.
Oh, I played golf all weekend at a nice private course up in Michigan. It was fantastic.
We were in Michigan.
Were you? I was in Bridgman.
I don't know where that is.
It's on the other side of Lake Michigan.
Is it close to Grand Rapids?
No.
See, we were in Grand Rapids.
Right.
We were, at a dart tournament.
Okay.
You should check one out sometime.
I should. It interferes with my golf schedule, though. That's the only problem.
All right, let's get the disclaimer out of the way.
The views and opinions expressed by guests on Dart Talk do not necessarily reflect the thoughts or opinions of the hosts, our sponsors, any official Dart sanctioning organization, and post hoc ergo propter hoc, any and all spelunkers, debunkers, raconteurs, roustabouts, technocrats, hepcats, cat ladies, Lady Gaga, the Four Seasons, the Three Stooges, the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences, hipsters, kibitzers, hellions, the fickle finger of fate, or Tom Waits.
Okay? We
All right.
disclaim
That's out of the way.
disclaim everything.
Yes.
We should probably start with the Premier League. Our picks
Fizzled, so to speak.
I don't know. I mean, Wade was pretty iffy. Beating
Yeah.
Van Gerwen was a big ask. He didn't do it. He lost 8-4. Taylor beat Van Barneveld 8-4 in the other semi, which surprised no one. It was the final that
Was a little surprising and entertaining.
well, yeah, I mean, it was kind of weird. I mean, Taylor started out really good, and, Van Gerwen just started raining ton 80s on him.
Mm-hmm.
And I lost count, but I think in, the last 9 legs, he threw, 7 ton 80s, Van Gerwen did. And, his finishing was a little sloppy, but, here's Phil, missing crucial doubles when, somebody's, right on it.
Right.
Which is
But
really...
then he took a 132 out, right?
That was really funny. That was the winning finish.
The winning leg.
After Taylor had, I'm trying to remember what Taylor missed, but after 12 darts, Taylor's sitting on 40.
Mm-hmm.
And Van Gerwen's got a 132 to, win it all.
Up one
single
already.
bull.
Yeah.
Yep, single bull, trip 19, double bull. And, it's a great finish. Not an easy one by any stretch of the imagination, but, he hit it dead center and, wins 10-8. And I didn't like Taylor's chances even if he held. They were swapping breaks the last 6 or 7
Really?
legs. Yeah, I mean, if you started, you ended up losing. And the thing that I found remarkable about it was the way Taylor, kind of got ahead. I think he was up 5-2 or up 2 breaks because Van Gerwen won the throw. And all of a sudden, the guy can't hit a double, and he's not getting more than one chance at him, to Van Gerwen's credit. So, I looked at the stats. And they were, pretty much dead even. They both averaged over 100. Van Gerwen's doubles percentage was 37. Phil's was 38.
Wow.
Not a whole lot there,
No.
right? Breaks to throw, 5-4.
5-4.
Phil, the 160 finish that Phil hit was absolutely I just died laughing because Van Gerwen, instead of going for the finish, set up a double. Leaving Phil on 160, and Phil just punched it out and had this big smile on his face. And I'm like, I've seen Phil do that so many times. I've seen Phil with a guy sitting on 161 or 167. Phil's on 50 with one dart in his hand and immediately throws fat 18.
Mm-hmm.
Which
just go ahead and try.
Yeah, well, some guys will hit it on you.
Yeah.
So, one of the commentators, I don't know if it was John Gwynn or somebody said something about, well, a lot of guys can play this good. But, to play this good in this situation on this stage is very rare.
When you're an accomplished darter like that, you're able to hit double bulls all the time. And therefore, even if you hit the single, you should be able to clean up 25. Why would you even give your opponent the opportunity to hit 160, 161, 167?
Well, yeah, I try to explain to someone it's a personal percentage thing. Where what's your personal percentage with 3 darts at a double versus 2? Because if you throw the single bull, you're only going to get 2 darts at a double, and you're going to blow by. For, I would say, the vast majority of people, 32 and 40 are your highest percentage doubles.
Okay.
For the average pro, you're probably losing 25% on your average.
Yeah.
So if you give Phil Taylor 3 at 40,
because all of a sudden you're at double 12 or double 14 or whatever.
Well, yeah.
Double 8.
What's the worst thing that could happen? You're going to fall into a 19.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, a lot can go wrong, and you don't need it. You're guaranteed 3 more darts at a double.
But you're not guaranteed. That's my question.
Well, yeah, the theory is you're guaranteed.
Okay.
But I've seen guys do this so many times. I've seen a lot of amateurs do this. 1 dart in their hand, they're on 50. The other team's on 219.
Well, I agree with that.
They throw for the bull.
They
throw for the bull, and all of a sudden, you see it in doubles a lot. I don't really see it in singles that often, but you leave your partner now. He's thrown it an awkward double. Like, suppose you hit a 13 and you're on 37. That's why I'm asking
that from that aspect. I get that from, what you're talking about, not the top pros of the world, though. The top pros of the world usually hit double bulls in their sleep.
Well.
Or can.
Nobody's 100%.
Right.
The idea is to maximize your chances of winning a leg. So, I always used to tell Jill, just give me 3 at a double.
Mm-hmm.
Because, 3 at a double, my percentage is pretty high. It's not 100%, obviously, but it's pretty high.
Well, yeah, like if your percentage is 38% at a double.
Right.
Then
1 out of 3, and you're guaranteed.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so if you look at their percentages, I mean, they're both right there. And, to be honest, Van Gerwen's should have been much higher.
Okay.
Van Gerwen was blowing by some doubles there, but, he didn't really have to pay for it. And if you look at the ton 40s and ton 80s, right, all together in 18 legs, Phil had 13 ton 40s, 2 ton 70 whatevers, 174s, whatever, a statistic they added a few years ago. So that's 15 of the big scoring rounds versus 22 for Van Gerwen. So he's down 7 there in 18 legs, and that's really the difference. Is that extra triple you throw in there gives you extra darts at doubles. And, Van Gerwen needs them. So he finished about the way I figured he would, and he scored a little bit better than I thought he would. Where Taylor blew it was, Taylor's finishing. And then he goes to play, that weekend they had the European Championship, and Taylor lost to Mervyn King 6-2 and just missed 3 at this double, missed 3 at that double, missed 3 at this double, and it's like, wow,
Does that have anything to do with the Premier League wrap-up, or does it just...
Oh, I don't know.
Or it's just traveling to Dubai?
I don't know. That's the Dubai thing is this weekend.
Oh, that's this weekend.
Which I find to be absolutely remarkable, it just irritates me because here you have, Dubai is pretty much the be-all and end-all. If you have an event in Dubai, have you not arrived?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how much money is in Dubai, but if you see pictures of that place, it's like the Emerald City in The Wizard of Oz. It's absolutely spectacular. And to be playing in the desert outdoors, I'm like, this I have to see.
Sounds
right?
pretty cool.
Well, yeah. And Dubai, I think, is one of those international cities where you have a lot of, foreign workers, which are Westerners, right? So here they are bringing darts there. I know they've had golf tournaments there. They've had tennis tournaments there. And the fact that the PDC is grown in world stature to the point where they can put on a tournament in Dubai, right? And here we are with the
pretty
ADO
impressive.
in bed with the BDO and the WDF. Just makes me like, wow.
I want
You
to
know-
wish good luck to Hickory's. He's going to be in Dubai.
Oh,
Really?
good for him.
Wow, Paul. All right, well, good luck. Well, he won't be playing, but, have fun. Give us a report, man. Call into the show next week and tell us all about it.
Take some pictures.
Yeah, take some pictures, take some video. Definitely. I think that'd be awesome. We need some roving reporters.
Oh, God.
But nobody wants to do it.
Right.
I mean, we could get a roving report from Great Lakes later in the show because Chat Room Girl was there playing.
Mm-hmm.
And we do have results, actually. We have results. They had to reschedule a DPNY event that got, I think, snowed out or something. So they played that over the weekend. We got results for that. We have results from the Great Lakes. I'm sorry, it's Shoot the Rapids.
Right.
In the Grand Rapids Dart League in Grand Rapids, Michigan. As far as results from Texas, as usual, getting results from Texas, I don't even care anymore. But a special shout out.
They don't come very quickly.
Well, no, here's my deal. I mean, you pretty much know where I'm coming from with all this stuff. But a special shout out to Pam Briggs and Weeble, Sarah Simons.
Weeble. Right.
They won trips to go play the Winmore Masters in England. 4 guys won trips too, but I'm not going to mention them because now I have like a conflict, right? The conflict is basically for the women. The women have to play this BDO stuff because the PDC doesn't have a world championship for women. They tried to have one, and they did it 1 year, and Stacy Bromberg won it, and then that was it. They never did it again.
All right.
So as gung-ho and as successful as they are promoting youth darts and, promoting the PDC events, they're doing nothing for women. So the women have nowhere to go as far as playing big-time darts except the BDO. So for the women that made it to the Winmore Masters, absolutely. Yeah. And it was rough. I guess Sandy Hudson, was having, physical problems and couldn't make it through, and Marlise Keel just missed. But I looked through, the women that were playing. There are a lot of good women, some notable exceptions, but Pam Briggs and Weeble got through, and they deserve everyone's congratulations. Mm-hmm. The only other thing I want to say about the Winmore Masters playoff that they had, and you guys can help me out on this because I'm confused. All right, you got all these people that when they go play somewhere other than America, they say they're going and they're representing the United States. And I'm kind of like, really? Because you're just, you're just going there. You're from the United States playing somewhere else. Mm-hmm. You're not on a national team. It's not like the U.S. against Holland or the U.S. against this. You're just yourself. So how is it that you're representing the United States? I mean, if you're from Ohio and you're playing in Massachusetts, are you representing Ohio? Is that how it works?
No, you were just from Ohio.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So you
I would agree with you on this one for sure.
What do you think, Chat Room Girl? You got an opinion?
Yeah, I think that you represent wherever you're from.
So
you represent your hometown, not just the city and state you're from?
I mean, when you're from Chicago, are you representing Chicago when you play in Aurora? Am I representing Chicago and Illinois when I play in Indianapolis?
Yourself.
Well, which is it? Are you representing yourself or are you representing your country?
All of them.
Well,
that's a politically correct answer.
Well,
I don't know if it's politically correct.
I
don't
look at it this way though. If you're from America and you go overseas to play, they look at you as you're an American, so you're representing America. And if you're a good player, bad player.
Well, how do they know you're from America? If you're wearing a shirt that just has your name on it.
With this accent, do you not know that I'm from America?
Well, okay, if you're just standing at a dartboard playing, I mean, how do they know you're not from Canada or New Zealand or Australia or, I don't know,
London,
Belgium?
You could be right.
I mean, how does anybody know?
Right.
I mean, if you're wearing a United States shirt, then yeah, I would say then you're representing America. But if you're just wearing some other shirt, I mean, I'm confused by this. I've heard people say this now for years, and I just don't. Maybe I don't get it, or I'm looking at it.
I don't get it either. Then if you don't get it, because it doesn't.
Because we're of one mind,
right? Yeah, no, that's far from the truth there. But
you don't want to be my evil twin. So Sassy, you think that like when somebody goes to Hong Kong, like to play in. Like when David Fathom goes to Hong Kong or Chris White goes to Hong Kong, who are they representing? She's busy typing. See?
I am chat room girl.
Okay, well, I had a question for you.
Okay. Well,
Shall I repeat it?
Rinse and repeat.
Well,
When Chris
okay,
White and David
most-
Fathom
okay,
go to Hong
so
Kong,
you did hear the question.
They're representing Canada.
but they live in the United States.
Well, but most of the time they represent Canada.
Is that
Most of
we
the
should
time.
ask them because I'm really
I
confused
don't
by
know.
this.
Good topic. Next
I
week.
think that they're. I think that to my way of thinking, you're representing yourself. You're not on a national
So
team.
in effect, or you, yeah,
you
I
should
mean,
take pride in the accomplishment that you've qualified to go to this tournament that was once held in an ice rink, and the Brits qualified by having perfect attendance in their league. But
Right.
that's just me, and I'm very curious
do
whether
they,
anybody's
does the
going to get
tournament want
turned away
everybody
or
to
something.
be, wanting them to represent the country they're from? I mean, are they promoting something
you're
like
playing,
that? Or is it,
I don't know. I mean, it's like when Pete Sampras goes to the French Open, is he representing America? Or is he representing Pete Sampras?
but they all
you know what
show
I mean?
that he's an American.
They show your country.
Right.
Yeah. And you should take pride in being an
and
American
they count the Americans
playing
that are still in the
overseas.
tournament as the rounds
Well, we
go
do.
on. Well, the
I mean, they
announcers,
don't.
right.
In France, they probably count the Frenchmen.
Oh, I'm sure.
Right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, it seems to me to be somewhat of an artificial distinction that I've never bought into.
Well,
but
it's more local. It's like, so yeah, the Americans are programming and saying how many Americans are left because they want all the Americans to be rooting for them. The French are doing the
that's
same.
just
so
for
it's-
ratings.
Exactly.
That's
That's
just
all
so
it's for.
Let's
Right.
in tennis, that's part of the reason that tennis has fallen off on TV for so long is because they got everybody rooting for the Americans, and now none of the Americans can win.
Right.
So now it's like, well, let's not watch.
But they're doing it on golf too. Now on the golf, when they show the leaderboard, they show everybody.
they show the flag and everything. I don't know why you really do that.
They didn't do
It
that
doesn't-
3 years ago.
They didn't, did they?
No, they
That's
only
kind of
did
a
it
new
in like the
thing.
British Open or the U.S. Open when
which are
it's
national
right.
tournaments.
Exactly.
So I mean, if
now they're doing it on every state tournament.
yeah,
It's really strange.
Maybe they think it's
I
colorful.
have a good point from my chat room.
Oh, let's hear it.
Are you saying you're from America or are you playing for America?
Well, that's the thing. I mean, if you're representing America, that implies that you're playing for America, but you're not. You're playing for
from
yourself, and you're from America.
Mhm.
So this distinction, I don't know. I think I irritated a couple of people because
Well,
I publicly said I
Just-
really don't really
just today,
look at
or
it this
just
way.
like
Wow.
over a couple people for like the last couple weeks. or
Apparently, I can irritate people, and 5 years later they hate
Yeah.
me. But yeah, what are you gonna do?
something. All right.
Anyway,
we should take a break. Or do you
Are
want
we
to do
already
the-
at break time?
5 years.
Oh, it might have been more. I lost count. All right, we'll take our first break. We'll be right back. You're listening to Dart Talk with Steve, Mark, and Chatroom Girl. We'll be right back. Okay, back for the second quarter,
All right.
brought to you by the Dart Zone.
Stay in the zone.
TheDartZone.com is an official Cosmo distributor. New bumper.
New bumper.
Did you like it?
Yeah, it was entertaining.
Okay, that is from actually one of our listeners. That's from Jeff Dodson. We
Okay.
got another one we'll play
That's why
later
you
in the
asked
show.
if he was in the chat room earlier.
Later in the show. I am going to do a collaboration with him. I'm going to he's way better guitar player than me, but I'm going to like tape something for a bumper and then like send it to him, and he can dress it up and make it sound good, and then we'll use it.
All right.
And I can say I've contributed something else
Sounds
to
like
the
a
show.
plan.
Yeah.
You could say
I
you're
like that.
representing Dart Talk with your guitar playing.
We're all about new things, and hopefully everybody can see us a little better. We upgraded our camera, and next week hopefully we'll upgrade the lighting in the background. We're working on that, so hopefully you guys can see us a little better.
Not that that's what our goal has been.
Yeah, that's probably not. Yeah,
But
drive people to
Too
the
bad.
audio podcast.
Guess that's the way it is anyway.
You can always get the audio, by the way, if you go to iTunes
Mm-hmm.
or Stitcher.com or TuneIn.com. You can get the audio-only podcasts. If you go to our YouTube page, there's actually links to the iTunes, and I don't remember what the links are, and also to our Twitter up there. So if you go on YouTube and you search Dart Talk US, you'll get all the video archive as well as links to the audio. So until the website's up, which should be shortly, you guys can
Still?
use that. Yeah, one thing
That's
at a
like
time.
that's
man.
like the broken record. You should have
If you'd-
you should
oh,
just have a recording
don't
of that.
even-
The website will be up shortly. You could stop speaking, hit the
The amount
recording.
of
Can you
time-
define shortly?
I'm going to shortly you guys.
Already there.
Speaking of new things, anyway,
Sure.
we
Let's hear
do
it.
have we have results from the latest DPNY. They had to do a reschedule.
Mm-hmm.
I guess they had snow or something in New York City. So why don't you want to just run down the results real quick?
May
This
18th
is
at Percy's,
right, and this is actually, is there an event number?
number 1.
Yeah, so this is actually the first event of the year that they had to reschedule to May.
All right.
Okay.
Top 8, you got Darren Starr, Todd Harrington, Andrew Van Coverden, and Phil Freed. With
Okay.
your top 4 of Rich Hammond and George McShane. Your runner-up is Dax Muna, and Bob Garzone is your winner.
Okay, congrats to all those guys. Andrew Van Coverden still playing good. I played him in the NWDS in Vegas. A great young kid. I don't know how old he is. It's like kind of some of these young guys are starting to scare me.
Mm-hmm.
I played this one kid. He's 21. I played 2 21-year-olds in Grand Rapids over the weekend. This guy's like, I don't know, 21, 22. I mean, there's some good young players coming up, and it's going to be really great for them if they keep at it, because there's going to be so much more to play for.
Yeah.
I
Hopefully they'll be able to travel.
well, that's the problem in America, isn't it? I mean, you cannot defeat our geography. But I did have a chat with Rob Heckman today. Rob's the, I don't know, he's the head honcho for Dartslive in America.
Yeah.
I don't know what his actual title is.
I think his business card says head honcho.
It doesn't say head bozo on the bus?
No.
Oh,
Head
that's what
honcho,
mine
I
says.
believe, yeah.
Anyway, well, no, because during the last stage, which, by the way, there's a Hong Kong stage this weekend for Dartslive if you guys want to be up at 1 in the morning on Sunday. I always find it
Oh, yeah, I'd
compelling.
love to be up
Yeah.
at that time.
You're up anyway. You're just
I will
not
be.
in front of a computer.
Right.
Anyway, I asked Rob because they're talking about this Dartslive US Tour. And I have not been able to find the information that I wanted to find out about in order to inform our listeners in an accurate manner. So I got him on the phone right before the show, and the deal is, excuse me, the deal is that this year there are going to be 4 Dartslive events in America outside of the world stage that'll be in Las Vegas in September. And what they're going to do is each event pays $5,000 to the winner. Each event has a $19,000 purse.
Okay.
And what they're going to do is they're going to keep track of points. You get so many points for top 4, top 8, whatever. The top point getter in the 4 events is going to get $5,000, and in addition to what he won
Right.
in the different events, he'll get a $5,000 bonus and an entry into the preliminary round of the world stage in Hong Kong. Which
Okay.
sounds to me like something infinitely worth playing for.
What's the entry?
I think it's like $100.
All right. But
$100
you
per
still have
event.
to pay your own way to go there and back.
Well, yeah, $5,000 ought to cover it,
Yeah, I mean,
unless
you're right.
you eat a lot of sushi.
Right.
I'm thinking.
Yeah.
You know, but the nice thing is the way they've spread it out. The first event is going to be in July, in Washington State. That's in the Pacific Northwest. If
Last
you
time I
don't have a
checked.
map handy.
Yeah.
And then the second event is going to be in Madison, Wisconsin,
Nice.
which you and I will have to go to.
Okay.
Right? I mean, you can do interviews, and I'll actually try to play. And then the third event is in Virginia Beach.
He's already set my schedule for me. You like that?
Well,
I like
somebody's
that.
got to. Otherwise, all you'll do is play golf.
No golf that weekend.
And then in November, the fourth one is in Hawaii.
Sweet.
Right. So I was.
Oh, yeah.
Rob was telling me, right now airfares to Hawaii are really, really cheap because apparently it's off season.
Yeah. Okay.
So everybody needs to now. I'll post a link to the website on the Dart Talk Facebook page. It's a little hard to read on the air, but if you go to dartslive.com, in the upper right-hand corner, you can pick U.S. as your country.
Okay.
And once you pick that, in the right-hand column, there's a banner that
Give you a
says
schedule.
U.S. Tour. And that'll give you all you can actually enter online. I believe there's only 40 spots left for the Washington one. So you guys need to get on the stick.
You need to get on it.
Get on the stick as far as the Darts Live thing. I personally think this is one of the things that I have been harping on. Maybe I've been a little hard on Arachnid. I don't think so, but some people do. But my idea is look, if you're a company that's profiting off the players, you should be given something
Right.
back. I don't see why players at the Bullshooter, which is coming up, are only playing for the quarters they're putting in the machine. Right? Why isn't Arachnid adding an extra $3,000 for the men's singles or $3,000 for the ladies' singles or something like that, as opposed to them keeping everything, and then you watch your participation shrink every year? From
We
a
only have
business-
ladies singles on Top Gun now.
Okay. Wow. Is that good or bad?
Well, we don't have singles in the regular events.
Why is that?
So that would be bad.
Yeah,
Why
we'll
are
be
there
back.
no women? Women don't want to play singles anymore?
I don't know. They made it a doubles combo event.
What is a combo event? Is that like
Is
fries
that
and a
because
drink?
of lack of participation? I
cricket.
mean, is there not enough women that they think they can have a singles event?
I don't know. Every year I play in it, there seem to be, but apparently they're doing something different this year.
Okay. And you
So,
have no idea why?
Nope.
You
That
could
probably
you want to
further enhances
speculate?
your argument.
We
Yeah,
like
I'm-
speculating.
I'm not going to speculate because I'm already in trouble.
Why are you in trouble? What do you believe me? What are
Well,
they going to
if
do?
you're- if
Ban
you're
you
already-
from the Bullshooter?
Yeah, if you're already in trouble, then
If
what the heck?
Wow. So then you get a real
if I
Memorial
do, I
Day
have
weekend.
plenty of stuff to do. If
You could play. I used to play with a guy in league every year, and he was actually from Wisconsin and came out of soft tip. And when he moved to Chicago, became like a steel player. And he dragged me to the Bullshooter a couple of years, and then after that, he's like, "I'm not going to play this anymore." I'm like, "Really?" Every Memorial Day, I'd be like, "Are you going to play the Bullshooter?" And he's a great soft tip player. He's like, "No, I'm going to go fishing." He'd had it with
Yeah.
the tournament, and I don't know how many people share that attitude, but here you have Darts Live who's building something, right? Who's contributing to the players, where there's sponsorship money to play for, which everybody has been crying for I don't know how long, right? How do you not everybody just
Well, and
run and play this?
I believe I heard Rob Heckman say this. It was about the 16-person.
What I was calling an exhibition
Right.
that I got
But
slapped
they did
down
it
for.
for basically that sole reason. They were giving back to the players is
Well,
one of the reasons why they held that event.
Well, they're only giving back to 3 or
Well,
4
sure,
on that
but-
one, which is fine. I mean,
but
it's
it's
not
still-
like they wouldn't have won a qualifier anyway.
Yeah.
But
Okay, wait a minute. You
That
want me to
added-
speculate? I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to speculate.
go ahead and speculate.
I'll go ahead and just say it. So, because the women play at 10 a.m. and the men don't start till 1:30, it's in both events. So, like Illinois State is kind of like the women get to sleep in, and then the men have to play early. And so at Bullshooter, the women have to get up early to play, and the men get to sleep in. So I think the women just got tired of getting up after the dart party to play singles.
See,
At
this
10
is
a.m..
okay. See, this is the kind of thing where I always thought of the Bullshooter as an event for recreational players, where you go to a tournament, you have a good time, you play some darts, the chips fall where they may, and nobody really sweats it. You know, for the for the top level tournament players, I think they've been getting squeezed out of this tournament where if you look at something like Darts Live, I can't imagine them all not flooding over there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no.
I mean, they have. I don't understand why Arachnid makes the decisions they make. There's no. I don't see much sense to it. I'm not in the business. I'm sure there's things I don't know about, but I'm sure if I looked at their books, I could figure out a better way for them to do a tournament than they're doing now.
Mm-hmm.
A better way to do their regionals than they're doing now. But they can always call me. Feel free to call me, Arachnid.
Exactly.
I will fix all your problems.
Right. There you go.
But no, I thought this Darts Live thing was pretty exciting. I was like, here's something new. Here's outside money coming in. How is that not great for a dart player? And one of the things that Rob said, and I may misquote him, but I'll try to paraphrase what he said, is the idea here, one of the ideas, is to give kind of like I don't want to say average player, but give somebody who's not considered like elite, top-notch player something to shoot for, a reason to improve their game, a reason to go and see how they do. The Darts Live format strikes me as being a little less. How do you put this without making? Well, no. I mean, their format makes it almost hard to pick a winner. You know what I mean? I mean, it's like
I'm not sure I know what you mean on that one.
Because their perfect game is a 14 dart 01 game where you just throw at the bull and hit a trip 17.
Right.
I mean, how many perfect games has any guy thrown in steel? 1, 2, 3. There are guys throwing 5 perfect games a day. So the game that they're playing is easier. But because it's easier for everyone else. And so they're kind of condensing the field where even if you're like a top player, you can still get waxed by somebody who isn't considered a top player. I don't know how you do this stuff anyway. I don't see any soft tip ratings or anything like that. I mean, Darts Live will keep their own like world stage, and it's just based on your results. This is how many points you got. I mean, it's sort of. I like the way they do it with their shootout, where they seed every tournament. So you could be the 1 seed 1 week, and then the next month you go back to Hong Kong and you're like the 67th seed, depending on how you did that one shootout game.
Okay.
And so they make it really, whoever's having the best day is guaranteed to win, unless they, really catch a bad break. You know what I mean? So from a standpoint of like picking a winner, we tried to set odds last year. I mean, it was like, you got to be kidding me with this.
It was very difficult.
And we could have done it at like 11 o'clock Saturday night once you kind of saw the draw and everything. But outside of that, it was like, well, what are you going to do?
It's impossible.
Yeah, it's impossible. But for dart players, and especially for people that like to play these recreational tournaments, I mean, I can't imagine why you would not take a crack at this. I mean, I can't imagine it not being awesome. Flying out to Washington, I mean, I guarantee you when they start taking signups for Wisconsin, that thing will fill up in a day.
Yeah, it'll go fast.
There's got to be thousands of people playing soft tip in Wisconsin. How could you not want to play this stuff? And I understand people have loyalties to machines, and it's like people are loyal to the ADO despite what the ADO may do. There are people that are loyal to Arachnid for whatever reason. That's fine. Be loyal to whoever you want to be loyal to. I'm just saying, like from a financial standpoint, as a player, you got to be applauding Darts Live all day long. This is the kind of thing that, if it spreads to the other manufacturers,
or people that are loyal to Arachnid won't play in a Darts Live event.
I don't know if they will or not, but they can. They're perfectly welcome.
Yeah,
Darts Live's not banning anybody, as far as I know. So
Nope.
So it's just
so there you go.
It becomes a personal opinion.
Hey, you play what you want to play.
Yeah.
I mean, that was one of the things that irritated me about the ADO's event in Dallas over the weekend was the way they ran the qualifiers. There were people that really had no chance of qualifying. So if you have no chance of qualifying, how do you celebrate the people that won? You know what I mean? Like as far as the women went, it was a little bit different because they had they weren't rigging qualifiers to like, well, okay, we'll have a qualifier, but we'll make sure it's when everybody's in Vegas playing some other tournament. What is that? And then the guy
You
who
seem to bring that up,
determines
like,
that
every week.
because it irritates me because I'm like, you're if you're an officer in an organization and you're rigging stuff in your favor, you're not going to get respect from me.
No, right.
I'm not going to celebrate the fact that you qualified. I'm going to like condemn you for it
I just find it
and
funny
say that you
because
ought to be like banned.
It ends up in the conversation every week.
No.
I'm not saying that you should change your mind.
Well, because because the guys that qualified are great players, and I consider some of them friends, and they deserve credit for qualifying, and I'm happy for them. And it's just that the circumstances that are revolving around all these ADO things, I mean, it's just becoming silly and it's becoming meaningless. I mean, when they run their 501 championship in Stanford, I'm not going to call it a national championship anymore because there's too many regions that aren't going to be represented.
Right.
You're just going to have to call it like the ADO Club Championship, the anti-dart, not organization. We need something for O.
Oh.
Yeah, we need order, the anti-darter order. Anti-dart
Darting.
order.
Anti-darting
It's an order like it's a priesthood thing.
The anti-darting order.
It's like a cult. It's like the anti-dart cult, where we're going to make sure that only our people can
Right.
kind of get in, and we're going to make sure it's like kind of like this, and anybody else can go scratch, which is pretty much the attitude I get from them.
There
You don't like it? Start your own organization. Well, guess what? Somebody did.
Yeah.
And somebody's going to start a new international organization, and these people are just going to become more and more irrelevant, and I'm just going to be like, ha, 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 ha. Because I'm fed up.
Not that I want to
I'm fed up
tell
with
you
the
I
way they
told you
do
so,
stuff.
but I told you so.
Let's just take a break. Let's get to something. We got to talk about Grand
We're
Rapids.
on commercial anyways. That's a good
Yeah, we're
timing.
going to take a commercial. We're going to come back, and the big topic that I did want to make sure I covered this week was how do you save a shrinking dart league?
Okay.
So we'll do the Grand Rapids results, and we'll talk about saving a shrinking dart league. After this break, you're listening to Dart Talk with Mark, Steve, and Sassy. We'll be right back. Okay, back for the second half, brought to you by the Dart Zone.
Stay in the zone.
The DartZone.com is an official Cosmo distributor. Also, many thanks, Redwood Darts and Windy City Fabricators. And where were we? Any idea?
Well, yeah, you want to talk about saving a struggling.
Oh yeah, saving
wanna
a
do
shrinking
results
dart
first.
league. Yeah, I got some notes on that. First, so we'll talk some Grand Rapids
Some
a little
Grand
bit.
Rapids.
What'd you think of it, chat room girl? You were there.
Grand Rapids was a lot of fun.
You say that about every single
you
tournament.
know
They could
why?
have a
Because
tournament
I'm
in a
always-
mosh pit.
Do you
I think
know
I guys heard you
why?
cheering when I was on,
Because
like, the eighth
glasses
hole.
always have full with me. Now I still had fun at Illinois.
As
State.
long
I
as you have
like
a
it,
glass, I guess, is
yeah.
the thing.
No, actually,
Right.
I had a good time. I saw a lot of people I haven't seen for a long time because I don't play as much steel as I used to. So
I didn't even know you were going to that tournament. I thought you were done for like a month.
Actually, Friday night at 7:00, Junebug and I set up.
Nice.
Yeah.
Right at the draw it dies. Well, I forgot about that tournament. I had it all set up. I had a nice dart vacation all lined up. I wasn't going to have to play. I put them down. I was like, oh, this is fine. I went out, played for like an hour one day. The next week I didn't play for 45 minutes, and I was like, this is nice. I'm getting like kind of recharge my batteries, and all of a sudden it's like, I got to go to Grand Rapids next week. I played so horrible. At one point I was in top 8 in the cricket. I lost the diddle, which I pretty much did all weekend. I go for the 19, and my first dart is dead center, trip 16, and I'm like, oh my.
Oops.
Oh my, am I a mess?
Is there any way to practice
Right.
your diddling? Because you seem to be saying that you lose a lot of diddles.
Well, yeah.
It's like Steve loses a lot of diddles.
Well,
penultimate.
I lost a lot of diddles
The
over the
opposite of
weekend
Joe
just
hits a
because,
lot of
well,
triples.
I hadn't been playing. I wasn't sharp. I was missing everything. It wasn't just diddles. I was
Right.
missing triples and doubles and singles, too. I mean,
Well,
it
you
wasn't
lost
like,
every diddle to Larry one weekend, and Ray Carver always beat you in the diddles, and it's like an ongoing thing. You're losing your diddles a lot.
Yeah, I don't know. It might be a mental thing, but what I did was I changed my practice routine. Well, basically, I kind of stopped practicing, and one of the things that I incorporated in my practice routine is I would start out and throw 10 double bowls.
Mm-hmm.
Usually only take a couple of minutes, but some days it takes 5. Because you're hitting a lot of singles, whatever. But I would do that every day, and you just get accustomed to hitting the black.
Right.
And I stopped doing it. I'll have to start again. So, but again,
Just curious. I was
well,
just curious.
it's like how much time are you going to spend practicing your diddle? Because that's time that you're not going to spend practicing something else. And I resent the fact that I even have to practice diddling, but it's only certain tournaments where it's like, I'll diddle every leg. Oh, God, please. So, I've always been an advocate for let's get rid of the diddle.
Yeah.
Diddle once, alternate start. What's the big deal? And these professional diddlers that insist on diddling every leg, well, they figure it's to their advantage, or they
Right.
wouldn't be insisting on it because it's a pain. It interrupts the flow of the match, and there's no reason to be doing it. So
I totally agree with that.
all these people that argue for handicaps and stuff should just be arguing for alternate start, so they at least get to start half the leg.
Yeah.
Or one less than half the legs,
That's
right?
a handicap right there.
Yeah.
It's an advantage.
So anyway, Grand Rapids was, I had a lot of interesting conversations because I had a lot of time to talk to people since I wasn't really playing. And I had some interesting discussions with some of the locals there who are having a problem with falling participation every quarter with their league. So I came up with some ways that leagues that are suffering in participation can kind of reverse the trend. But let's do the results before we get to that. These are the results from the 2013 Shoot the Rapids in Grand Rapids, Michigan.
All right, so you got your 501 singles top 4, Oliver Jones and Howard Duckman, with Brian McKay second and Ron Johnson first. You got cricket singles top 4, Steve Fountain, Brandon Sutherland, Kurt Hartman second, Robert Ham first. 501 doubles, these are all men's, by the way. Men's doubles, top 4, Ron Johnson, Kurt Hartman, Steve Fountain, Mike Kern, Ed DeBanke and Carlos Perez second, with Pat Jurison and Kevin Yazinchek for first place.
Yeah, and I got to say, Pat Jurison played solid all weekend. They knocked us out in the first round of that event, and guy played stellar all weekends. Hats off to him.
All right, and you'll see that again here. Coming up in cricket doubles with Oliver Jones, Ken Townsend, Robert Ham, and Dave DePriest for top 4. Second place, Ron Johnson and Kurt Hartman. And here you go, Pat Jurison and Kevin Yazinchek, first place. Draw doubles, top 4, Carlos Perez, Corey Nichols, Lindsey Morales, and Jim Church. Second place, Ed DeBanke, Jake Crandall, with Ron Johnson and Tim Gilmore winning the draw doubles.
Yeah, and I think Jake Crandall kept signing up as Jake from State Farm.
That's funny.
Yeah, and
It's Jake from State Farm.
It was killing Jill because Jill kept wanting to see if he was wearing khakis and stuff, but then she could never, she'd remember what board he was on, but then she'd get involved in her match and she'd look and they'd be gone. So she was like, that really bugged me all weekend. I thought that was a good sign-in nickname, was Jake from
clever.
State Farm. Yeah.
Draw triples, top four. Kylie Clemens, Kevin Yazinchek, Tim Gilmore, Ed DeBanke, Neil Hoffman, and Mike Gonzalez for top four. Tim McVicker, Danny DeRose, and Barry Davis for second place. And Pat Jerrison, Corey Nichols, and Ryan Christofferson for first.
Yeah, it was good seeing Danny DeRose. He used to come out a lot. I hadn't seen him in years, so it was nice to see him. Canadian guy, nice guy.
Your mixed doubles, top four. Am I missing a page here? Yeah, there it is. Neil Quentin and Jody Faber with Grace Burrows and Kurt Harmon. Second place goes to Kathy Salway, Pat Jerrison, and first place goes to Jill Hutchinson and Steve Penunselman.
Yeah, and I know this is going to sound like, kind of, whatever, but Jill played great.
Yeah.
She's getting better. And we've won this event before. And the first time that we won it, she was throwing at Muggs Alley and could only point in the cricket because it's like 5-0. Then we played Chicago format. And we ended up winning that way. And people were irritated that, what are you having her throw at the 14 for? I'm like, I just need a little help.
14-11 triple.
And now it's like she took out four game-winning doubles in four straight legs or whatever, 4 straight matches, whatever it was. I mean, she played really good. And I was grateful because I was not playing well. So actually, I give her credit for winning this one for sure.
Behind every good male dart player is
a good female. Oh boy, we could do a show right
Careful.
there. Yeah. We could do a
Careful.
show right there. Yeah, we probably shouldn't do that.
Probably
let's
a bad
not.
idea.
I have a good one behind me.
well,
though.
let's
I guarantee
continue
you
then.
that.
301
Right.
singles open. Top four, Ed DeBanke, Corey Nichols with Carlos Perez second, and Kurt Hartman winning that.
Yeah, that was Friday night's 301.
Yeah. All right, and then you have your women's. We will go with 501 singles for the women. Top four, Ann Quinn and Cindy Chanowski.
I think, yep.
Shannon Streeter for second and Liz Tynan first.
Also, Ann Quinn was top 4 there.
Did I not say that?
I don't know.
I think I did. But
You
anyway,
might have.
cricket singles
You
top four, Jill Hutchinson, Kathy Salway, Ann Quinn second. That would be
Don't
second.
leave her
that would be
out.
second place.
It was her birthday.
Really? Well,
It was her birthday over the weekend.
happy birthday to her.
The twins turned
and Liz Tynan first. The Tynan twins.
Saturday night at midnight. They both turned 22. So happy
Exactly.
birthday to the Tynan twins.
Good for
anyway,
them.
Yeah.
And Liz Tynan wins the cricket singles as well. 501 doubles, top four, Sue Cherry, Kathy Salway, Terry Nagy, and Jody Faber, with Jill Hutchinson and Mary Beth Collins getting second. And there you go, the Liz Tynan and Ann Quinn, first place. And your women's cricket doubles, top four, Gretchen Meyer, Trina Powell, Kaylee Clemens, and Marianne Willis. What is that?
Looks like Willis.
Okay, missing a consonant.
What
and a
you
vowel.
doing,
Talking
Willis?
about Willis?
Missing a vowel there. Liz
well.
Tynan and Ann Quinn second place, with Sue Cherry and Kathy Salway winning the women's cricket doubles.
All right, congrats to them. Kathy Salway, I thought, played really good all weekend. She had actually, had she hit tops instead of just putting it in the corner of the 5, we might have gone down.
Yeah?
Yeah,
All
so.
right.
Although apparently I thought I hit double 20 to win it, and as it turned out, I hit double 6. And I'm like, double 6? She's like, well, I left you on 24. And I'm like, oh, yeah. So, yeah, I it's about the worst I've played in a tournament in, I don't know, 8-9 years.
Do you want to go to
Had
a break
great time, though.
and come back with your advice?
Are
for
we
the
already
shrinking
at break
dart league?
time? Are you kidding me? Yeah, okay.
Or do you want
Let's,
to continue the shrinking dart league?
Let's just,
talk first?
we'll do our last break real quick. We'll be right back. Listen to Dart Talk with Mark, Steve, and Chat Room Girl. We'll be right
Howdy-ho.
back. Okay, back for the fourth quarter, brought to you by the Dart Zone.
Stay in the zone.
DartZone.com is an official Cosmo distributor. Also, many thanks, Windy City Fabricators, our host, and Redwood Darts. And what are we talking about? You like that? You like that bumper? You like the harmonics at the end?
Yeah.
It's like a Tommy Emmanuel thing with the harmonics. He goes nuts with that stuff. Can listen to that all day long.
Yeah, it was nice.
Yeah, anyway, thanks to Jeff Dotson. We'll try to get more from him as far as the bumpers go and kind of keep things fresh.
We are talking about saving a shrinking dart league.
Right, which is, you
have
where
some thoughts.
yeah, freshness comes into this one. I mean, people get caught in a rut. People get, the leagues just kind of go on and on and on. And, the Chicago League's a perfect example of a league that shrunk over
definitely,
time, right?
For sure.
And you look at the same people are running it, doing the same things they've always done. And I keep telling people, if you're on one of those buses in India on the side of a mountain, where they've got people sitting on top and stuff, and all of a sudden you notice that the bus is going off the cliff, I mean, aren't you obligated to turn the wheel?
Yes,
If the driver's asleep?
Yeah. Oh,
right.
Well,
so I mean, the player.
I was trying to get to that. If you notice the bus is going off the cliff, who's obligated?
Well,
if you notice it, you're on the street. How can you get to the bus?
And this is my beef. This is one of my beefs with the ADO is you cannot get the people that are running the ADO out of there.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll talk about ideal organization if we have time because I do have that mapped out. But as far as saving a shrinking dart league, there are so many that I've talked to in the Midwest where people are complaining that their participation is down.
Right.
And I immediately am like, well, what have you done about it? What have you done to adjust your league to match the population that you have, right? Like Windy City's a perfect example. Back when they had hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of players, most of them were recreational players, and it was all you could do to just, get the schedule out there, put out the little fires that come up and host your playoffs and be done, right? Well, the people that are left are the real, I don't want to say hardcore, but these are like your regular people that are year in, year out, season in, season out, are always playing.
Right.
Their demands and their perceptions of the game are not exactly jaded, but they're so different than what a new person experiences coming in. Right? So you get into this kind of groupthink where all the people that have been around for a long time all kind of look at things the same way, but then they're unable to look at things in a new way when new people come in. So the first thing, I had a long talk with one of the people that is running the Grand Rapids Dart League, and they were talking about, how their participation is falling. And so I said, well, look, there's a couple of things that you as league officers need to do to reverse the trend. Right, so I actually have bullet points.
All right.
Bullet point number 1, these are not in the right order. Bullet point number 1 is do the math.
Mm-hmm.
And what I mean by do the math is you need to start calculating what your league is all about in a quantitative manner. So like one of the first things you want to do is find out how long it takes your upper division, your middle division, and your lower division to actually play a match.
Okay.
Right? If your lower division is constantly in there at 1:30 in the morning trying to finish a match, their format is too long.
This is kind of like the tee it forward concept in golf.
Yeah, it isn't so much like tee it forward, and it's not a matter of like, well, okay, now you have to hurry up and play.
Yeah, no, but
where you do some
you're
ridiculous
doing things in order to keep it from being a 6-hour league match.
Of course.
Yeah.
And one of the things I explain to them is like the biggest problem with a shrinking dart league isn't really so much that people don't play anymore. It's that people who stop.
Mm-hmm.
So I said something like, "What is your retention rate for somebody who just joins your league? What's the retention rate? What are the odds that person will be playing 2 years from now?" I asked this from Windy City years ago, and they had no numbers.
I ended up stopping because I was getting sick of the fact that it was going till 1 o'clock in the morning.
When you're playing on a weeknight and you got to get up and go to work,
right?
How and you're
not
a
everybody's 5 minutes. Not everybody's 5 minutes from the.
Of course
the venue,
they're not.
You know
what if you have to drive 40 minutes?
Mm-hmm.
That's another hour and a half right there. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Why would anybody do that when they're doing it for fun? You're talking about money leagues. Most beginners don't get in a money league. beginners get in something because it looks like fun.
Mm-hmm.
And if it doesn't continue to be fun,
They get
then
out.
they won't do it.
Right.
Another example for the beginners, when you're doing the math, is like what I have seen beginners play 301 and take 45 minutes to play a leg because somebody couldn't get in, and then somebody couldn't get out, and then eventually the person that
both on
couldn't
double
get
one.
in ended up winning the leg.
Yeah.
And it's like you cannot do this to beginners and expect them to want to come back and play.
Well, let alone the teammates that are sitting there watching it, and then it takes an extra 45
right.
minutes. And
So what I have advocated is that every league take 3 weeks or 2 weeks, whatever it may be, before a season starts, and run an instructional league for new players. So these people could get in your instructional league and not actually join the league, and all they play is 0-1. And I immediately got this, oh, well, cricket is so much fun. And I'm like, well, actually, cricket isn't that much fun. It's no fun to sit there for an hour and miss. Nobody has fun doing that. People get frustrated. When I'll go to Murphy's to bang the board for a little bit and practice on my own, and I'll see 4 people that have never played before start playing cricket. 50 minutes later, they're not done yet, and half of them quit. It's too hard to hit a ball.
Yeah.
Let's go outside, kind of thing, right? The idea with beginners is you have to teach beginners that they are playing a real sport, right? That has, etiquette, has rules, and can be like loads and loads of fun, and it isn't that hard.
right.
Now, how do you teach them
And there's
that?
some marginal success by missing what you're aiming at.
The beauty of soft tip for beginners, they get immediate positive reinforcement or feedback
bells,
whenever they hit something.
whistles.
Well, hey,
Yeah.
it's something. You don't get that in steel.
Right.
And in the absence of that, you need to come up with a way that will draw people in. So my attitude was like, look, take people for 2-3 nights and just make them play 501. Teach them how to chalk. Teach them what the etiquette is. Show them, that, okay, this is how you hit a double. This is how you end up on 0. So they have something to go home, or, if they go out on Friday night, something to work on. So they just learn how to play 501. Every dart counts until you're up to a double.
Unless you miss the
right?
board.
Do we have a ding? Are you going to ding me? I see your hand. Don't fake me out on the ding. Well, and here I am letting you in.
Okay, and I have something to add to that.
Okay.
I think that would be a good idea.
Talk into the mic.
I also think, am I not on? I'm on now. Oh,
Turn the
man.
mic on.
The
Rookies.
mic is on.
All right. You also think
She had to go to
I think another
Talk
thing
Show
I'd like to.
School.
Hey, it's my turn. It's
needs
my turn.
Let's hear it.
Okay, I think that
she needs the instructional.
as players that we've played for a long time, that it's also our responsibility to take a new player under our wing and to also teach them the game, teach them the consideration, teach them about. I mean, I know from my experience from back in Indianapolis, especially on the women's side, years ago, all of us who were considered the master level players, we always, when there was a new woman player that came in, we kind of took them under our wing, taught them the game,
Well, I agree with that.
and so
Well, yeah, that's the kind of function that I have in mind for this instructional league. Obviously, it's going to be taught by some of the more experienced players. But what I've seen happen in Chicago that needs to get reversed is we have people playing beginner level in Chicago that have been playing for 20 years. And the only thing that you can learn from somebody who's still at a beginner level in 20 years is just the
How to
basic.
stay at a beginner level.
Well, no, I mean they could teach you the rules. They could
Well, they
teach
might
you
just
how
be
to
playing for
chalk.
fun.
Yeah, they
Right.
could be playing for fun. I'm not ripping on people because they're not that good. What I'm saying is, the idea behind this endeavor is to encourage people to play and encourage people to play more than a season. Right? You're trying to get people to appreciate the game that Sassy loves and you love and that I love, so that they can love it too, so they'll keep playing, because that's the future of the sport.
And they tell 2 friends.
It's
and they
great.
Tell 2 friends.
Well,
and
yeah,
so
I mean,
on and so on.
I was talking to Mary Beth Collins, who runs like a little league in Fort Wayne, I believe, and she was saying that they do this thing where you have to bring a person with you,
yes.
right? This whole idea. And it shouldn't be that hard to talk one of your friends who you're hanging out with playing darts. Hey, come and join the league and stuff like that. And she's managed to get it to grow. incrementally every season. And I said, well, what's your retention rate on people from the very first year? And she's like, it's like 70%. And I'm like, that's awesome.
That's great.
If every league did that, if 70% of your new people were playing 2 years later, your league would, in 3 years, your league would like triple in size, right? I live in a city of millions of people. Nobody's recruiting.
70% are falling out every year.
Well, yeah, because the structure that they're using is based on something that we're going to talk about when we get to vacant lots and tater tots. But as far as doing the math,
I love tater tots.
doesn't everyone? Who doesn't like a tater tot?
My favorite.
That's
Your
what I'm
fourth
saying.
quarter's ending soon, too, so you might want to get to these bullet points.
Well, wow. Okay.
Wow.
Okay, so as far as doing the math, you need to calculate some of this stuff. The second bullet point was aim small, miss small, which I stole from The Patriot with Mel Gibson.
Yeah,
He's teaching
right.
his little kids how to shoot, aim small, miss small. The idea there is you need to have small, achievable, identifiable goals that your league can hit, every season. Or, every 6 months.
Right.
So that the people that are, admittedly, they're volunteers and everything, and this is going to require leadership, but you need to be always striving towards something. To just tread water and just keep the league afloat isn't worth the
It's not
effort.
accomplishing
Because
anything.
eventually you're going to sink like a stone. Your arms are going to get tired. And I see this, and I'm not picking on Grand Rapids, I've seen this in a lot of leagues where participation is down, but they don't really try anything. And then the idea is, somebody brings up an idea and 3 people say, well, that won't work. Well, how do you know?
So they disagree?
Yeah.
And they just move on?
But people are disagreeing based on no information whatsoever, just their idea that, well, I don't think that'll
Not a
work.
chance.
Well, has
Right.
it worked anywhere else? Right? People said that this long format 01 tournament with the round robin on Saturday and the knockout on Sunday wouldn't work. And I kept saying,
It's
yes, it
thriving
would.
now.
Look at La Scratch. It's the best tournament I've ever been to. Finally somebody does it, right? The New World Darts Series in Dayton in October. Every player, I love this. This is great. I love this. And I'm like, yeah, of course you do. You got to actually play darts all weekend. What a concept.
It's amazing.
So the aim small, miss small by identifying the goals of your organization, and every league is going to be different. Some leagues may need to raise money before they can do anything else, so they're going to have to look at their fee structure. They're going to have to look at maybe taking $1 out of every blind draw entry on Friday nights until they can get to whatever it is they need. I mean, maybe the league doesn't have a computer to keep track of people. Do they have a Facebook page? Right? Who's in charge of communicating to everybody? Who's in charge of social media? Who's keeping the mailing list? Right? Stuff like that. Who's in charge of updating? Who's in charge of, setting the agenda? Stuff like that. So, and then the third thing here is blue faces and beaten bushes. I mean, every dart bar in your league should have somebody there who's roping in the casual player who just shows up, and you can just tell they're enjoying the game. Because I guarantee you, it was like when I first started playing, I didn't even know dart leagues existed.
Okay.
I had no idea.
Right.
And apparently I'd been living in dart league heaven and didn't even know it.
Yeah,
I
at
was
the
in Southern
time.
California for 10 years and never saw a dart match.
Right.
Didn't even know there was a dart league. So the word is not out there to the general public that there is dart leagues. There is an organized activity. It's a lot of fun. It's sort of like a bowling league or a pool league. And, it as long as it doesn't involve, something radical where you have to spend, 8 hours of your Tuesday night sitting around in a bar until they kick you out and then go to work the next day and stuff like that.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? So, I mean, all of these things need to be examined.
A little
by,
advertising,
well,
so to speak.
all you got to do is advertise
More-
in the bar. But
right.
I mean, I look at some of the flyers that you got to. How many bars are as well lit as a library? I have seen flyers that literally I whip out my reading glasses. I can't read.
a lot
them.
of
There's
it's-
nothing eye catching.
A lot of it's
There's
word of
nothing-
mouth too, though. Like there's a lot of dart
Yeah.
players out there that are in a dart league, and they'll tell their friend who has no interest in darts, and he's like, "What are you doing tonight?" "Well, I'm going to go play dart league," and that's all he says. Where he could say, "Dude, I'm playing in this dart league. You should check it out. Just come by and watch it.
Come by and hang out
and see what you think."
and
instead of just like going, "Well, I'll see you tomorrow."
But I mean, I've seen guys literally teaching people how to take out a 101, and I'm like, the guy can barely hit the board. Why don't you teach him how to deliver a dart? Right? Why don't you teach him how to hold it? Why don't you teach him how to stand still? Teach him how to straighten his arm.
With the right leg forward.
It's the easiest game I can think of to get decent at is darts. I mean, it's not easy to get good, but just to get decent where you can just play an average game, it's not that hard. People pick it up all the time. You watch new players that like really have an affinity for the game and really kind of, get turned on by playing. So they're spending free time playing. In 4 months, they're like 3 times the player they were, 4 times the player, 5 times the player they were when they started, right? And the smart ones that are observant and, kind of emulate the good players and stuff like that, as long as they don't pick up the bad habits, they're on their way. Eventually it gets to the point where it's like, well, I can't spend that much more time and people kind of plateau. That's where the enjoyment comes in, right? Some people enjoy competition. Some people enjoy camaraderie.
Right.
And the good dart leagues are the ones that can blend that together where everybody's happy.
I agree with that.
For instance, what I said about this one dart league, and I have said this to the Chicago people till I'm blue in the face. I'm like, look, you have to rebuild your tournament population. They used to have tournaments in Chicago with hundreds of people in the blind draw. And the last tournament they had in Chicago, they had like 32 guys for the singles that paid $850.
Yeah.
I mean, your tournament population is now gone. So how do you build it up? Lots of recreational players are intimidated.
You have to change something.
Well, yeah. So what I said is like, look, and this comes back from kind of the success that they've had in New York and some other places. Have a day of darts for your league players. Just say, look, it's $5 to get in. Play a round robin with a knockout after. Figure it to be like, get 24 people, get 32 people, right? Do a round robin followed by a knockout, followed by a blind draw. Start at 1 in the afternoon. Keep the format short enough where it's not going to take everybody forever. Throw a little money in there. Throw a little league money in there where it's okay. Everybody puts in $5. League puts in $5. Chop the money up where the winner doesn't get everything. Where like half the people get their entry fee because it's not really about money. Nobody wants plaques once you've gotten 3 boxes. Do you really want another one?
No.
But just get people out used to playing like kind of a different kind of darts than they usually play in their normal league matches, right? Like everybody enjoys the playoffs, but very few teams get in there, right? For every division, one team gets in and the others don't, right? So the playoffs, while it's different, this brings in everybody, right? And you could do all sorts of creative things. You could say, look, we'll take the team can nominate one person, he gets in free.
Okay,
right,
yeah,
whatever, all-star,
I
call it
see
an
what you're
all-star
saying.
shoot. And all you got to do is find, one venue that's willing to have you in for an afternoon.
Yeah, exactly.
What venue would not do that?
I think most of them.
And that goes, so this is just one example, but you have to recruit and you have to get creative with some of these people. And then the last point I had, vacant lots and tater tots, is you need to find venues that will work with you. You need to find venues that welcome you and want you there. Not venues that are like, well, we'd be happy to have you as long as you don't get in the way of trivia night.
Yeah.
Because that is
we got an open spot for 2 hours on Tuesday.
That's not what you're really looking for. What you're looking for is a venue that will commit to you and your people. In return, you're bringing them business, right? Because, as far as the bar leagues and stuff go, I mean, it's that balance between the venue and the players should be even. I mean, businessmen are need to make a profit, but they don't need to gouge you. You need a place to play, but you don't want it to be too expensive. So, so we're going to have, Budweiser specials, whatever people work out.
Yeah.
But one of the problems with the Chicago bars that I've seen is it's pretty one-sided. They don't really care about the darters. They just want people in there until 1:30 in the morning. And even though it kills the league because the new players after one season are like, I can't do this.
Yeah.
You're a 25-year-old. You want to have a good time on a Tuesday night. You join a league because it looks like fun, and then you're going to work Wednesday morning like, oh.
I have to do this every week
And
for
then
10
after
weeks?
10 weeks, plus you got to look at the size of your teams, right? In Fort Wayne, they're talking 2-person teams. I think 3's good. 3's a good-sized team. Anything more than that is a nuisance. How are you going to round up 6 people?
Yeah.
How many people hang out with this? Not everybody has a life like friends.
Right.
Where I have, or Big Bang Theory, where you have 5 people in your living room having
constantly
dinner
do
that are all
everything
single and
all night.
want to go out on weeknights. I mean, it just, that isn't really reality.
Yeah.
Right? So, the size of your team, that goes under the do the math kind of thing.
I agree with
how
that,
many
too.
people do you really need on a
Right.
team? I told Windy City years ago, go to 3-person teams. If teams want to have 6, that's fine. But make 3 the minimum and change the format so people play more and sit around less. Makes it more worthwhile.
You might actually get
and you
more
shorten
teams
the
out of
matches.
that way, too.
Of course you will. That's the other part of doing the math. Well, gee, same number of players, more teams, and each team there's a fee, so we'll end up with more money.
Right.
Fell on deaf ears. So I can only do so much as a talk show host. So, okay, we're over an hour.
Yep. And I have some questions from the chat room.
Oh, awesome.
let's hear 'em.
Let's hear
Okay,
question 1 from the
first
chat
one.
room. Ding. All right.
Cake's
Are
done.
the top 4 shooters from the playoffs going to BDO Masters?
Are the top 4 shooters to the playoffs? I assume they're talking about the men. That'll be interesting because the BDO Masters could, if they want to, turn those people away at the door. A couple of the guys that got through did not play any NWDS stuff and are not on the North American Championship Tour money list, so they'll be fine. The ones that are on the money list have a little bit of a problem that because they're kind of like in with the leaders, probably won't have a problem. So it'll be interesting to see, though, if
Because they can deny him.
well, no, because between now and then are North American Championship Tour events. Now, they've already said that if you're on that North American Championship Tour, they haven't rescinded it yet, the racist, discriminatory organization that they are. They haven't changed anything. But as far as I know, when it comes to the Winmau Masters, they have not made any announcements. But if the players that are qualified for the Winmau Masters suddenly start playing in North American Championship Tour events, it would be hilarious to me if they went there and then got turned away, which, according to the BDO bylaws, they could do any time they want. But at least 2 of the guys I know are not on the North American Championship Tour list, so probably won't have a problem. And one of them probably won't play North American Championship Tour list because, I think he's got, issues.
Okay. Next question.
Like perception issues.
The next question, which I think has already been addressed in my chat room,
Well, okay, let's hear it.
was
Okay, then go to the next question.
where are Redwood darts available?
Redwood darts are available. Here's the problem. We have them made.
They will be
I found somebody to
They'll
make.
be available when our website
well, no,
is up.
now
when the website's
Look.
done. So in other words, you might try.
they are available, and they right now the plan is that they will be sold through the dartzone.com, and all he asked me for, he's going to have them on his website relatively soon, but I did not have all the dimensions for him. He wanted to be able to have a picture up there with the dimensions of the darts and everything, and I did not have a micrometer in my back pocket. So I couldn't measure him for him. But that is coming. I had to deal with,
You got one in your front pocket?
Anyway, the Redwood darts are available. The design is final, and thanks for asking.
Next question.
We had
Do
a
we-
we had a
do we,
packaging issue
Do
with
we
the
have any
last delay.
listeners that know about any darts in Montana?
I got something from I got an email from somebody in Montana.
The Big Bear Open?
Darts in Montana. You mean like, are there darts in Montana?
Yeah, like I have a chat room guest who's looking for darts in Montana.
That's a good question. You know what? If you email darttalk@gmail.com and let me look into it, I'll get back to you in a day or two with whatever information I can find. Just give me a city. If it's Bozeman or Billings, or those are the only 2 cities I know. Kalispell. Let me know what city you're in, and I will find out what I can as far as Montana goes. Be happy to help. Is that it for the chat room?
That would be it.
Smartest chat room in the business. You got anything? You good?
No, I think I'm good.
All right, good luck to everyone playing this weekend. I know there's a tournament in the OC out east, and I believe there's a big soft tip tournament in Michigan. There's a Sheltie tournament that I know somebody was telling me about playing. So good luck to everybody going to that. Good luck to everybody in Chicago this weekend. Hope you have a good time. and
Heidi ho!
we'll try to have the results next week. Hopefully we'll get them, and I'm sure I'll be at the Bullshooter at some point this weekend. You guys can come up, say hi, tell me how full of it I am, whatever. I'm always happy to hear.
I'll be there Thursday through Monday, and don't.
I'm going to drag you to a Sox game on Saturday. You might melt.
Oh, is it Saturday?
You might melt. You might not make it.
Are we doing the Sox game Saturday?
So you might not make it to the Bullshooter. You might just go completely nuts.
Well, I was going to go Friday, but it turns out that there's more money in a blind draw Friday night than there is. Go play the singles at the Bullshooter. I did it last year. I lost to, who did I lose to? Big Dog? I think he ended up winning it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not even going to bother this year. I got to, go throw soft tip darts and everything.
But you just might. I mean, but you might not be able to handle being in that stadium.
In the Sox stadium? Don't you do something like you take a lot of Benadryl or something right before you go in there?
No, you actually enjoy a game.
Sox games. My gosh. I don't even know what to say about that. Who are
hopefully
they playing?
The Marlins.
Oh, well. Talk about
you at least
an
get to
easy
see a National
win.
League team.
Well, you won't get to see Ozzie Guillen, but you'll get to see everybody.
Maybe
Zambrano will pitch.
They play the Cubs after. The Zambrano, actually, I read a story. He's they might sign him in an independent league in Long Island.
Did they cut him?
Yeah, he's not on the team anymore. I don't think.
Well,
anyway.
he lost. He lost his fastball.
Yeah,
he can't.
He lost
pitch
his
anymore.
mind.
You can't lose something you don't have.
Well, that's
kind of.
I
was watching Rounders the other night. Let's wrap it up. Thanks everybody for listening. For Mystery Mark, Chat Room Girl, Steve Panaziama, we will Dart Talk to you next week, same time, same bad channel. Everybody take care.
Thanks.